Go on. Do it. You killed Donnie. You killed Molly. Your people have destroyed my home.
Get out of here.
Carol, you have no idea the things I've done, what I've given up.
That was actress Alicia Witt in the television show The Walking Dead, one of the many series she's appeared on throughout her career. But growing up in Worcester, her first love was music, and she was a child prodigy at the piano. Witt is now on tour with her new album, 15,000 Days. Here she performs her song, Younger.
Free to go away outside of the lights, seeking everything with nothing to hide, making up the rules we knew we could fly. Let's find our way tonight and disappear into the stars above the noise and ride the silence like a wave. You have a choice to reveal the quiet that you're hiding in your voice. Let's take the world and discover all we used to know. I want to find a way to the wonder like when we were younger. When we were younger. When we were younger.
Alicia Witt, thank you so much for being here. What a fabulous performance.
Thank you. So good to be here.
So we'll start with I love the title of your album, 15,000 Days. Tell us the significance of that.
Well, I recorded this album about 2 years ago, and at the time I was trying to think what to call it, and I don't know how it occurred to me to look up how many days I'd been alive at that time, but it was pretty much exactly 15,000 days, and I was like, what? That's too round of a number to not turn into the name of something. Also, the thing is that I wanted to embrace and acknowledge and honor the amount of time I've spent here, because I feel like so often in the music business as well as the acting business, people, especially female people, are constantly under this weird impression that it's better to be younger than to have lived and experienced. And I know I wouldn't trade being younger for who I am now for anything. So
I guess, not that I condone it, I guess I can understand it for screen work because of the way that people look at people, but I can't believe that's the case for music as well, but I'm understanding it is. I mean, music is a place where you would think that age is vital because of the stories that you're telling.
I know, and especially the female singer-songwriters that I've looked up to over the years have always been much older than I am. I've loved listening to Shawn Colvin and Emmylou Harris and Lucinda Williams and Carole King and Joni Mitchell, Ricky Lee Jones. Like, all of these women just grew and grew as songwriters.
As you've begun songwriting and performing, are any of those people you emulate, or who did you look to for inspiration?
I think that Shawn Colvin was the first artist I listened to that I really understood what it was to bury your dreams, and was struck each time by the rawness and the vulnerability with which she told her stories. Obviously very personal, but at the same time relatable, so that I could put my own stories to them. And I'd always wanted to write my songs and play them in public, but it really took me another 10 years or so before I was bold enough to start doing it. But I still look to her for inspiration.
What about yourself comes out best in song?
When I'm my best at writing and performing, I am the most authentically, barrier-less version of me. When I'm playing a role, obviously I'm playing a character, so it gives you that freedom to go to places, and yet you can still say, well, it's not really me. So those tears I cried belong to some other character, but you know, they are often rooted in your own experience. But when you're telling a story in a song, and you're trying to connect your own human experience to everyone else is.
Does it feel like a duality, the work you've done in television versus the second career that you've launched?
I've let the balance just happen organically. Like this tour that I'm doing right now, I didn't really want to be running around doing an acting gig right before this. That would have been a bit too much. So this is an example where I said, okay, I'm unavailable. No matter what great role might come along, I'm not doing it. I think there's always the fear that actors have that Martin Scorsese is going to call and it's going to be the Oscar-winning role and it's going to happen as soon as you book that holiday or book that tour, and you just have to let go of that.
You launched a Kickstarter campaign for this album, but you've also been very open because people are quick to criticize celebrities for launching a Kickstarter campaign, but you've talked openly that you don't have the money, essentially, that people might assume you have just by virtue of the fact that you're on a television series.
There is a misconception that if we recognize your face, you must be just swimming in money. And obviously, for some people, you are swimming in money. Like if you're on a long-running TV series, and those negotiations are often public. Like we all know, a show like The Big Bang Theory, all of those actors are set for life and their families are set for life, and that is such a blessing. But without having a label behind me, that was definitely something that I couldn't have funded by myself.
You have appeared in so many solid series like Justified and The Walking Dead, and then coming up shortly, Orange is the New Black. What is it like to go into a show like that where there is a cast that is seemingly, to us viewers, so tight-knit and have been working together for so long? Is it easy to walk into a situation like that?
So in all of those cases, my character worked specifically with one or two cast members. So it was a little different than just like suddenly being thrown into the mix. It felt like I did get to know the people that I was working with. But also it's interesting coming in as an outsider to a show like that, because there's groups that are really tight and there's groups that kind of keep their distance a bit, and you get to see all the different dynamics of the families that these shows have become.
I just want to ask, you grew up here in Worcester, Massachusetts.
Yes, I did.
How do you answer? I usually don't ask this question, but I think that people would be so intrigued that you have come from Worcester and you have the life that you presumably set out to have in Los Angeles and now Nashville. What do you tell people who come from places as far away as possible, seem as far away from Los Angeles or as Nashville as possible, that they can do it?
I think that if you can see it and you can visualize it, it's probably in there because it's supposed to happen. And at the very least, I think that vision is supposed to guide you to where you're supposed to be. So I think the best advice I could give is just to trust that dream that you have, because it didn't come from nothing.
All right, well, Alicia Witt, you're going to play us out with Still Sorry from 15,000 Days. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Looking back, I see you watching me, trying to figure out if I would leave. I stood there proud on sinking sand, talking about my best laid plans, till you gave up on me. If I could take back that time,